Caleb, when it comes out publicly that the team is fielding interest in a player, how do you choose to address that player, with the player specifically, or with the team, or just kind of go on business as usual, maybe?
I think nothing's changed as far as Gyasi, and I've answered these questions all season. I don't know anything about the article. Nothing's changed from our end. We're not trying to shop Gyasi. If that's what came out in the article, that's inaccurate. There's no controversy. We've got two good strikers, just like I've told you guys in every one of these meetings. It seems like we're getting that question. Got two good strikers. I'm going to continue to do what I think is best for the team to win the next game. Part of winning games is having a good guy off the bench as well. Can that change? Yes, based on current form and what the match calls for. But Gyasi's good. We're good together on the same page, and ultimately we feel like it's a strength having the two strikers that we have. So this article, I don't know where it came from. I don't know even what it said. I kind of saw a headline, and I think it's making a lot out of nothing, to be honest with you.
Well, I think it was saying the team was, gauging interest, not so much as some people speculated shopping, but I think what to take away from it is just this kind of happens with all players anywhere, and when you have a player to Gyasi's ability, not starting, it maybe fields more interest. I think that was kind of the gist of it.
Yeah, I think again, every team could be writing the same article with probably two or three players. So, I don't know who wrote it, but they should. Now they're going to write an article on every team, the two or three guys that aren't starting that are probably getting interest from clubs, because that's what's happening. Anytime there's a guy that's not starting, teams start to look and say, hey, maybe we can get this guy, and they put in a call. And of course, we're always going to, answer the phone. But ultimately, we like where we're at as a team, and we like the group that we have. And Gyasi's very professional. We value him, and he's a good player. So right now, there's nothing else we're thinking about.
When it comes to, this is aside from that popping up, but just in general, when it comes to deciding when he's going to get a start, and you're looking at, as you said, you owed Miguel Berry a start. The team has continued to play very well with him, but he hasn't been the one producing. So I'm curious if you judge probably a little bit of both the team as a whole and how they're playing with Miguel on the field, or maybe giving Gyasi the start when Miguel for a couple games hasn't been producing.
Yeah, it's just based on performance, right? When I said I owed Miggy the start, it was because he was performing well, not because, I was trying to repay him for being a nice guy to me or something.
Yeah.
He had played well at the end of the year. The team played well. We won the last 3 games he was in, so he deserved it based on performance. And so I don't just hand out things just because, let's just hand out a start. It's got to make sense for the game and for the performances that guys have had and earned. Team's playing really well. Our attacking chemistry is excellent. We have 9 goals scored. We're in a good rhythm right now.
Thanks for the time, Coach. You're playing now against Red Bulls this weekend. Last year, they gave up the fewest goals in the league, tied with a couple other teams. And now this year, they're kind of starting off on a similar pace as you all are with how successful they're playing on the fields. Goal scoring is better. On the defensive side for New York, how does your preparation change this week? What do you see in the defense that Crew can maybe exploit?
Yeah, they're a good team. I think you could see even picking up where they left off last year. They haven't added a ton of new guys, but Morgan was a big addition. He's really brought a different dimension in the attack, a guy that can score and, provide width, play left or right or wing back. Just really fits their system. But they're a team that's very hardworking. They cover a lot of ground. It's a game where we got to be ready to run. We got to be ready to run with these guys because they're fit, they press. very good in transition, and they make it a open game, and they prefer that type of game. Minnesota, I thought, did pretty well against them. Obviously beat them, at home. So there's maybe some things we could look at there. But it's going to be a tough game. It's the best team we've played to date. We have to be up for transitions. We have to be up for set pieces. We have to be up for first and second balls. We have to be ready to fight and win duels. We have to have a strong mentality. It's a difficult game to play. We feel like they were kind of the team that knocked us out of the playoffs too. When you really look at, they were the last team to beat us. They ended up getting in over us. If we would have gotten at least a point versus them in that, I think it was the 4 games to go, we would have probably been in. So it's too early to kind of call it a top of the table clash, but in some ways we're going to find out what our mentality is, and our physicality, and our fitness, and our ability to grind in a game that's going to be a little bit ugly at times and chaotic at times.
And talking about them being a tough team, and it is early, so that, like you said, not a top of the table clash, but competitively, it looks like 2 teams that are on similar paths. In the past few years, anytime the Crew's gotten close to something in the playoffs or making it like last year, that's motivation. Is there a rivalry there between Columbus and New York competitively, where I know Columbus has Cincinnati geographically, but what is that like between Columbus and New York rivalry-wise?
I think we have a rivalry with anybody that's fighting for the same things we're fighting for, and I would put New York in that category. They were a playoff team. We want to be a playoff team. I think they have aspirations of being at the top of the East. So do we. Seems like they're driven to win an MLS Cup. That's our goal too. We don't like losing. We want to win every game we play. Looks like they're starting the year with that mindset as well. So I think it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. We have respect for their team. In analyzing their games, I've got a ton of respect for how they play. It's not the exact philosophy that I believe in, but the way that their players buy into that and the way that they execute this Red Bull way is impressive. And there are things that when I watch them, I really respect. Just their ability to run and transition and work. They never stop working. And even versus Minnesota, late in the game, their mentality was extremely strong. So I think their coach, Stuber, has done an excellent job. You can see why he has a good career, in Europe. And I think he's got his team bought in. So we look forward to the match. I love games like this because they're a good team, and it's a road game. I want to see where my team's mentality is on the road playing a really good team.
Thank you.
Caleb, in the offseason, you made the point that you wanted to bring guys in who would enable you and the coaching staff to train a lot of different systems, shaping the team up. You had to make some changes on Saturday and clearly made an impact in that first half against Toronto, and in the end, getting the win. Last year, you played a 4-4-2 one time of the 3 times that you played the Red Bulls. How is this matchup against a 3-back system or a 5-back system exactly what you want to be tested in, given that your off-season goals were to bring your team forward so that you can be able to tactically adjust within a match?
Yeah, I thought last game we did that really well. Obviously, the last 2 teams we've played have adjusted to us, which is kind of interesting, just seeing the rhythm. And both San Jose and Toronto did something different versus us than they had done in any other game. But I thought we adjusted well, actually, in both games as the game went on. Unfortunately, we were down a goal early, so we have to, I think as a team inside the lines, we have to adjust a little quicker. But clearly you saw in both those games as the game went on, first half took the game over San Jose, same thing Toronto, and after halftime, with the exception of San Jose late, they were the better team. And I think there's a lot to learn from those 2 games because of the surprises that happened. We talked about that as a team, making sure we read the game and make sure we're ready if they're going with a 4-back and we thought they were in a 5-back. What does that mean, or vice versa? And I think versus Red Bull, you said it, they played a 3-back, 5-back, but they've also played 4-back. So they've played a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-4, if you want to call it that, is basically what when they play a 4-back, it's like a 4-2-4 or 4-2-2-2. And then last game, they obviously played a 3-4-3, which was really kind of a 3-4-2-1. So we have to be prepared for 2 different formations, and we've prepared the team for both of those. But their philosophy remains largely the same. There's just a couple little things that we have to do different if they play a 4-back or a 3-back.
Keelan, we've talked a lot about maybe some of these lessons learned in the first few games and how they're nice to have early in the season, and that can give you confidence. But as a manager, it must give you confidence too, seeing your team score in a variety of ways. How nice is that to have going into this 4th game of the season, not only the number of goals, but the variety of which your team is scoring as well?
Yeah, I think anytime you can score goals and you have confidence scoring goals, like you said, in different ways with different players even. You know, I know Lucas has been off to a really good start and has scored the lion's share, but I feel like still the opponent has to prepare for multiple players to be able to score goals. And anytime you can be a team that shares that responsibility with multiple players, it makes you less predictable. And I think the way that we score, whether it's pressing, whether it's transitions, whether it's with positional attacks, whether it's with set pieces, we've scored goals in all those ways. And so I think it gives you a chance, right, to go in on the road and if we're a team that can barely scrape a goal, right, then the margin for error is a lot slimmer. We have to be perfect defensively, and I felt like last year there were times where we had to be perfect defensively because we knew maybe we were going to score 1 goal. And sometimes we didn't even score a goal. Whereas this year, I think we can score a couple goals a game, hopefully, and then that means, even if we're not perfect defensively, we can still win the game.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Caleb.
You guys take care.